Hey, it's Becky from Patchwork Posse, and today we are going to be making a hot pad that is kind of like an extra large one for those 9x13 pans that you cook your brownies in. The first thing we're going to do is get our supplies together. I have my back fabric, I have my top fabric, and I've got 2 pieces of batting. Now you can use Insulbrite if you have that. You just want this thicker because it is going to be sitting on possibly your dining room table. If it's on your countertops, this should be enough. But again, if you need more protection, then use a batting like Insulbrite. I also have my binding already pre-cut and ready to go. The first thing we're going to do is mark our backing fabric, or whichever one you can see marked lines on, because we need to quilt this. And to get this started, I am going to be using, there's some chalk pencils, erasable pens, as well as disappearing ink. So check the description, I've got a few options for you in there. The first thing I'm going to do is just choose how I am going to quilt this. So I'm going to line up my ruler with the 45-degree angle along the bottom edge of this piece of fabric, and I am just going to draw one line to get started. I'm going to try this blue out, see if I can see it on the blue. I might try this yellow. So whichever one works best. Now I'm just going to line my ruler up on the drawn line 2 inches, and I'm going to draw another line. Now this just really helps the quilting go faster. It's not needed. If you've got a guide on your machine foot, you can use that. But this is just super simple. It doesn't have to be perfect. You'll just need something for a guide. So I'm going to line this up again and draw all my lines all the way across. I did mine as an angle, but feel free to do it straight lines, or I've seen some where they quilt in a square. So whatever you're comfortable doing will work just fine. If you want to go back through and draw another set of lines going this direction, you could, and that would give you a grid. All right, and you'll notice I could sew on this line, but it's so far on the corner I'm not going to worry about it. The next step is we need these layers put together so they are going to stay. You could use some pins, but I find the easiest way to do this is with spray adhesive. This is the spray adhesive that I really like. This is June Taylor's Quilt Basting Spray. It doesn't have a smell to it, which I really like, and you just need a couple spritz in here to get this to stick, so not a lot. And what we're going to do is lay down our first piece. After you spray it, you really want to smooth it out nicely. Flip it over, make sure you get all of those wrinkles or creases out. This isn't that big of a piece, so it makes it a little bit easier. If you're using a larger piece or spraying a larger piece, start from the center and go one direction, and then spray the other direction, spray the other side. All right, and our last piece that has all of our markings on it, we are going to put this into place. Just going to smooth it out. All right, and once this dries, I can take this over to the machine and I'm going to just stitch on all of these drawn lines. Now, because of the thickness, you do want to lengthen your stitching line as it's going to be going through a lot of layers. You don't want it to bunch up. And even with this, you could use your walking foot as well on your sewing machine. now that you have it all quilted, you are going to trim this up so we can get our binding put on. I'm going to flip it back and forth a few times to make sure. So as you can see, I can see some batting on here because my backside, this fabric is not covering it. So we're going to trim off these edges, and you can use a long straight ruler for this. No matter what you do, there is going to be some shifting when you quilt all of these layers together. So this just allows you to make sure it is ready for our next step. With this all set, the next step we're going to do is just bind this. So this is super cute, super simple. We've got our quilting done. We have our layers put together. Now we are going to just bind this. So we are going to set this down on our in place. All right, with our binding put on, we have our finished extra large casserole hot pad